afternoon again, and welcome to our webinar. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Bobby Haggard, and I'm one of the consultants here at TrinSoft. Now, as I shared previously, I've been with TrinSoft about 5 years. I've spent nearly 15 years working on or with different ERP solutions. And one thing that I've found working with the different ERPs is that no matter what type of solution you're using, there's always the need to be able to access and manipulate the data that is collected within these ERP systems. And that's exactly what we've been going over in this Power BI session. So on our call today, we will plan to show you how to be a data hero with Power BI and how you can become the Office All-Star by being able to show your team how to distribute, share, and distribute those reports to your coworkers. Now, a little bit of housekeeping here before we jump in. First up, we've gone ahead and muted all the phone lines, trying to keep down on some of the background noise. If you do have a question, which we absolutely encourage, please use the Q&A feature of the webinar tool. We will be monitoring that. We may answer you directly, or we may enter that publicly, or we may address it during the webinar. Additionally, if you would like a copy of the presentation slides or the presentation recording, just drop your email into that Q&A. We'll know what that means, and we'll be sure to get that to you once that is available after the webinar. Again, please submit your questions. We absolutely encourage those, and we will do our best to try and answer those for you. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm joined on our webinar today by Matt Wood, who has been with our TrinSoft team for nearly a decade and is our Dynamics team lead and lead project manager, who is over both of our Business Central, NAV, and GP teams. We'll also be joined by Chelsea Mack, who has been with our team about 6 years and is one of our senior consultants on the Dynamics team, focusing on Business Central, NAV products, and Power BI. As I mentioned, this webinar is a mini-series all about Power BI. And looking at the registration list, we certainly see several returning attendees from the prior 2 sessions. I wanted to welcome each of you back to this webinar. However, if you have missed either of the 2 previous webinar sessions around preparing your data by using Power Query or building dashboards, please visit our website at trinsoft.com to find those webinar recordings, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where we have those listed as well. Our webinar today is the 3rd and final in the series, and our team will be walking through licensing, how to know which licenses you have, how to publish and share these reports with your coworkers. Please, at the conclusion of this webinar, go to our website, again, trinsoft.com, navigate to our Contact Us section, or you can use the chat feature on our website and contact us. Let us know what you thought about this webinar. Let us know how we can connect and work with your team to help with your Power BI related needs. As I mentioned, I want to quickly hit on who we are as TrinSoft for those of you who may not know who this may be your first webinar with us in this series, or for any of you viewing this online. We were founded in 1996, and we've since achieved the highest level of Microsoft certifications available by being recognized as a gold certified Microsoft ERP partner. And our team has been recognized by Accounting Today as one of the top 100 VARs out there. Over the last 2 decades, we've done well over 125 ERP installations for multiple organizations with offices throughout the world, and we have about 200 or so active clients in roughly 17 or 18 states. We are experts in Microsoft's business platform, and we do all things related to ERP installations, project management, upgrades, customizations, help desk support, etc. In addition, we have some clients who are Power BI only clients with us, meaning we support their reporting needs. We help with writing reports, creating visuals, creating those dashboards and distribution. And then another partner, another group takes care of their ERP system, their support, their needs in that area. Additionally, we have also developed a document management software called TrinDocs that can handle all of your accounts payable automation needs, document workflow, image capture, scanning, storage, and much, much more. All right, so that's just a quick overview of this webinar series, who we are as TrinSoft, and a few ways in which we support clients. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Matt and Chelsea to hit quickly on licensing options and how to know which license types you have. Matt, I'll let you take it from here.
Sure, thanks, Bobby. All right, so quickly, just a quick overview if you're new to this, or if you've joined a couple, we just want to remind everybody what we've done so far. So our first webinar, we looked at preparing the data, and we used Power Query for that. And if you remember back then, I said that's kind of the hardest, most labor-intensive piece of this. So that's the get that data clean, get it ready to be used. And then we moved on to the building the reports. So we actually then showed you inside of Power BI how you actually build the visuals, how you get the data work there to create that report. And we'll be using that report today as we kind of go through the publishing side of it. So this one today is probably it's going to be the quickest. So we'll have you out of here probably in about 15 or 20 minutes, depending on what kind of questions we have. But what we're going to do is first look at some licensing. We'll talk about workspaces, how to do permissions there. We're going to look quickly at if you're wanting to publish these to a mobile application, how you can create the reports to render well on a mobile device. And then we'll also show you another app that you can do to present these. Let's say you wanted to use it on a large TV out in your work area. So we'll go through that. We'll show you all how to do that. And then if you have any questions after that, we can do it. But before we get there, I want to talk about licensing, because this does kind of drive what you can do as far as publishing. So the two I'm going to focus on are the free version and then the Power BI Pro. Now, there are additional ones, which we'll see here in a second, and I'll mention those. But the two main ones we see the most, and what you can pretty much get is what you need out of it, unless you have really large data sets, is the free license and the Power BI Pro. So first of all, the free license. So everything you've seen us do, the Power Query, the building those reports, can all be done using the free license. So you have that, anyone can get that, download the software or use the app.powerbi.com and see that. Now that license, so as I said, we can create reports, but we cannot publish those to a premium workspace. And that becomes important here in a minute, because that's going to drive who can see it. Now, I can personally publish out to a workspace, but I'll be the only one that can see that, or potentially if I have other users out there that have pro licenses, they can potentially see that as well if I'm a pro. But that free license can view reports created by a premium user. So I don't have to have the Power BI Pro to go out to a workspace and see one that has been published to a premium location. So that's important. So if I just have users, your high level, C-level people that only need to just see them, or potentially you've got reports you're showing just out on the floor that is for information, they don't need Power BI Pro to do that. They just need a free license. And as long as you publish that to a workspace that is premium, they'll be able to see it. So then the second license type is the Power BI Pro. Now this one is $9.99 a month. So that is a recurring monthly fee, $9.99 a month per user. These are named users. One thing, it does come if you have Office 365 E5. So if you're up on that level, it does come with that with all your users. But this one, the difference is I can still create them just like I always do in the Power BI desktop or out on the website. But I am able to publish these reports to a premium location or premium space. And that allows my free users then to see it, or other pro users. So we'll show you how to do that in a minute. And if you look at the chart here, this is just directly from Microsoft, but you can see, so if I'm a pro license, I can publish to both a workspace that's not premium and one that is. But the difference is if I publish it to that premium space, you'll see over there on the right, my users with the free license can consume that report and see it. All right, Bobby, if we want to go to the next slide there. All right, so just a little bit more detail here. So now this one, we're just looking at the Power BI Pro, but we've added the Power BI Premium per user and then the per capacity. So again, the Power BI Pro, that's $9.99 a month. The Power BI Premium per user, that's going to run you $20.99 a month. And then if you get up to the Power BI Premium per capacity, you actually have to reach out to Microsoft and they work that pricing with you. So that's going to be for your very large companies. But you can see what I'm able to do here. As far as the Pro goes, I have mobile app access, and I'm able to publish and report to and share and collaborate. The Premium adds this RDL report that I can do. And then the Power BI Premium per capacity allows me to actually have an on-premise server. So I can have a Power BI report server that's on-premise, not hosted. All right, Bobby, we'll keep going. All right, so again, same columns here. So the one on the left, that's your pro, and then the ones to the right are the premiums. So a couple things to point out here. So on our model size, so on the pro version, basically my model size can go up to a gig. If I go up to the premium, that allows me to go to 100. Now, refreshes go. So you can see here it says 8 a day for the pro. That doesn't mean that I can't manually refresh it unlimited times. What it means is I can schedule a refresh, and that refresh can happen 8 times automatically. If you go up to the premium, you can do that 48 times per day, and you can see that. So we go down the list here. So obviously all the data sources are available in all the license types. I can create those reports and visualizations in the Power BI desktop, what we've been doing on the previous webinars. I can do that with the free, the pro, the premium, it doesn't matter. I can put APIs and controls. I can add AI to the pro. And then where it gets a little bit different is down advanced AI, endpoint read-write connectivity, direct queries to additional areas, and then Azure data lake storage. So if I had the huge data set that I'm storing, I am allowed to do that through Azure data lake on those premium versions. All right, Bobby, one more. All right, so if you already have used Power BI and you're just not sure which you have, you can find this. So if you go out to your apps.powerbi.com, and then up in the top right corner, you'll see a little circle. You might have a picture in it. It might have your initials. But if you click on that, that'll bring down your user information, and it'll tell you, do I have which account you have. So you can tell if you have a pro, a free, a premium, it'll show that. And then right from there, you can purchase that pro, or you can even sign up for a trial, which I believe is a 60-day trial if you wanted to see how that publishing with the workspaces worked. All right. So that is the licensing, and that's important because we got what we're going to show you here. If you publish, it will only publish for consumption if you have that pro license or above, obviously. All right, so we're going to let Chelsea share. She's going to drive. I'm going to talk. Okay, so first of all, we're out here on the app powerbi.com. So we've seen this before. If you remember last time, we showed you that you could go ahead and you could build reports out here just like you could on the desktop version. So that is possible. But what we're going to show today is more of the publishing aspect of this. All right, so the first thing we've got to do in order to publish is we've got to create a workspace. So Chelsea's going to go ahead and show you how that works. So we're just clicking over there on the left, and we're going to create a new workspace there. So you're just going to give it a name, whatever it may be. You may have something, might have a purchasing section, then a sales section, an accounting section, whatever that is. And that's important because you'll see in a minute, we'll be able to give permissions to those. So we've saved that, and now we've got this workspace set out here. You notice there's nothing in it. We can potentially add content from here, or we're going to show you how you publish it from the desktop, but we're going to first give access. So we want to set permissions up to who is able to see this. So she's going to just put my username in there, and you'll notice when she hits this drop down, we have 4 choices. So we've got the admin user. So basically an admin, they can do anything. They can add and remove users. They can add things to this. They can share, publish, whatever. They can do it all. A member is basically the same as an admin, except that they can't add and remove users. So the member can pretty much share, publish, do anything they want, provide access to certain parts of reports, but they cannot add and remove users from that process. The contributor is, they can publish reports, but that's pretty much the end of their ability. So if you wanted to have certain users out there that could add reports to a workspace, that's what you would want to give them, but not give them access to change membership or anything like that. And then the viewer, pretty self-explanatory. They're just going to be able to view the reports, consume them, and see them. So we'll just set that me as an admin. Just going to click add, and we've added that. And you can add as many people as needed there by just typing in their email address and that'll bring them in. Something also to keep in mind is if you have security within your ERP, for example, to certain tables, this could also drive some of that. So like if I'm only have access to sales, I may only see data related to that. Doesn't mean I can't open the report, but some data might be hidden from me. Okay, so we'll close that. So we've got our workspace here. And the next thing we're gonna do is actually go out to our Power BI desktop and we're gonna publish this out to you. All right, so we're out here. We can see these are the reports that we built last time. So we've got our 2 tabs there, our dashboard and our item details. And when we publish this, it's going to publish both those tabs out to our workspace. So we're just going to click publish. Pretty simple. And you can see it pops up and it'll say we're publishing this for you. And we got the success. That's what we wanted to see. One thing I'll mention here before we go back. So we're publishing that out to the workspace. And you'll notice that it has that .pbix extension on it. So even with the free license, I could technically share this with somebody, but it's going to be similar to sharing an Excel file, for example. So I could share this to someone that has Power BI desktop. They could open it, see it, refresh it, do all those things. But if they were to make a change, it's not going to reflect out to my file. So you can share without the Pro, but you can't create workspaces and do some of the stuff we're going to do in a minute. All right, so we'll pop back over. And now we're in our Power BI demo workspace. And notice before we didn't have anything, and now we have 2 pieces of information out here. So we have the Power BI webinar report, and we also have the data set. So again, based on those permissions the users have, they may not see data sets. They may only see the report, or they might see it all. And then you could also have multiple people publishing to the same workspace. So if we just open up that report there. So we're out here in powerbi.com, opened it up, and we're able to see that now. We could even edit it depending on our security level. So I can hit edit and make those changes, and they'll go back and forth. You saw a subscribe button there. If we go back a little bit here. That subscribe button, so we can go ahead and subscribe and have this emailed to us as well. So there you can see, and we can add additional people to this. So if I wanted to let people know through email and be able to open this report, I could add as many people as I want, and it will send that email off to those users. And we can schedule those emails. So if you said every morning I want it to send out an email, I could set that up similar to what you do with an Outlook calendar invite. You'll notice there too on the frequency, there was one after data refresh only. So if I had a scheduled refresh in the morning, I can just have it automatically go ahead and send it once that refresh is finished. Okay. So there's that. We've published our report. So now let's do a few more things with it here while we're out here. So let's first look at our auto refresh. So Chelsea's going to open that here. So right now, that's just sitting out here. I could open it up, look at it. But if I want that to refresh, I'm going to go to my data set and look at this refresh. Now, based on our license type, it may be grayed out, but this, you can see the basics here. So I can tell it I want it to happen on a daily, hourly basis. And remember, based on our license, it's either going to be 8 times a day max, or, all right, we flipped over to a different user here. So here we are with it in. So if we hit the frequency there, we can drop that down. We can see we can do it daily. We can do it weekly. We can tell it what time we want it to run, what time zone we're in, so that it knows. And then we can do this multiple times. If we had add another time there, we can add additional time to that. So we can, again, do that 8 times a day in a Power BI Pro, 48 times a day in a Premium. Also, you saw there right there at the end, it does, if it fails for whatever reason, something's happened with the data, then you can have it send those error messages and notifications off to an IT group or whoever it may be. All right, so that's our refresh. If we scroll to the top, I want to mention something else here on our gateway connections. So depending,
Matt, one quick question that's come in about that area. Can you set a data set or a report to be refreshed anytime a viewer views the report or dashboard? Like if they open it, will it automatically refresh?
I don't think so. I think it's all done right through this data set here. Now,
Okay.
you can manually refresh at any time. So if somebody wanted to manually refresh it, as long as they have the permission to do that, they can. This is just the auto.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So this gateway connection, just keep in mind, this is all again based kind of on security things. So if I'm connecting, let's say, to an on-premise SQL database, for example, I've got to have that gateway connection set up, and you're typically going to want to work with your IT to do that, but they're going to be able to help you set that gateway connection up so that I can do these auto refreshes and whatnot. Now, if I'm using a out of the box connector that came with Power BI, your GPs, your business centrals, your SAP, anything like that that has a connector already in there, then it's just based off credentials, right? I'm going to set a user in there with their password. As long as those credentials are valid, it'll be able to connect, no problem. And that's there in that data source. One other thing I'll mention, we're not going to show it, but I want to just make it aware to you. You can also set some security up kind of row by row, for example. So like, let's say I had 5 departments in my sales group, and I wanted to say, okay, all my South department users only see this part of the report, and then my North and my East and my West, whatever. You can do that, and that's all done in the designing. So we may hit something like that in a later webinar, but that is possible as far as permissions go as well. Okay, so we've now got our auto refresh. We've talked about the gateway connection. It's published. People could start consuming this report at this point. So let's talk about 2 more things here. So for one, let's go back to our Power BI desktop. We're going to show you if you wanted to do this on a mobile application, just how that could look. All right, so we're inside of Power BI desktop, and you'll see right here under view, we've got a mobile layout button right there. So if I select that, you can see it pops up what would look like a phone. And then I just take my visualizations and I drag them onto this phone layout. Because that phone layout may look different than a desktop, obviously, a smaller screen. And we want to be able to then also share these reports through that mobile app as well. The good thing while she's doing that, I'll talk too, is as I publish those to the workspaces in my app, so if I have the Power BI app and I have access to those workspaces, those are going to show up there as well. And I can tell it, I want it to render like this on a mobile device, and I want it to render just how I had it set up on the other one. So she's just dragging those on there, and then it's just as simple as saving that. And once I do that, anytime I open my mobile app, I'm going to get this view. So I might have a little bit different view based on whether I'm looking at it mobile or if I'm looking at it on a computer, or even like an iPad, a tablet that has a little bit bigger screen. Okay, so that's our mobile. And we'll go back now to our powerbi.com, and we've got one more thing to show. Let me just check my notes, make sure I haven't skipped anything I don't think I had. As I told you, this one was going to be pretty brief. Okay, so on this one, what we're going to show you is there is a separate app that you can use to do similar to like a PowerPoint, right? So if I wanted to have a big screen TV out in my out in the office so that I can share metrics and the whole team can see them just out there in the open, or even if I'm just sharing a report with on a meeting and I just want something to scroll as I'm talking, for example. So this is how we can do that. We're out here in the Power BI app that's on our computer. And what we're going to do is go find our workspace, select it. And when we do that, it's going to pull it in. So here's our report. And again, this is where that refresh becomes important, especially on the automatic. So if I had this running on a TV, I'd want this to be refreshing maybe on the hour so that I get that new data that's fresh. You'll notice here, we're going to turn on a slideshow. So when we do that, we're going to tell it how long do we want these to show. So we're going to do pages only, and we're going to hit that drop down. So we could say we want this to be 5 minutes all the way to 5 seconds. So we're going to just set 5 seconds for this. And when we come back out, so we are in a slideshow view here. If we extend that out a little bit. And we do that, we'll notice here's the report, and then there was the 2 seconds, it flipped and showed us our next report. So this is real nice. Maybe you're giving a presentation and you just want something in the background showing data potentially, or maybe we do this actually internally, well, before COVID and we were all at home, but we had a TV out in our main area that just did metrics for us. So we would know how much chargeable time we had, for example, for a week. So how many issues, what are the new issues, how many issues do we have? So stuff like that, and it would just roll on the TV. So at any time, somebody could get out there and see how we were doing. And there was really no surprises for anybody because it was all right there for everybody to see. So that's our slideshow there. And that's really, as I said, this is a pretty quick one. We're not doing anything real spectacular here. It's just getting that publishing done. Once we've got that nice report built, and we want to be able to share that with folks, this is how we would do that. So it's as simple as getting the workspace created, making sure those permissions are correct so we have the right users in place, making sure those users have the correct license to be able to consume it, and then publishing that right from our Power BI desktop out to here so that we can see it. All right, Bobby, that's what we got. As I said, I think I hit the 15 minutes, so just as we expected there.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Matt. Thank you, Chelsea, for walking that through for us today. As I said, next steps, contact our TrinSoft team, reach out to us, let us know how we can help you with Power BI, your Power BI needs, Power BI questions, Power BI distribution, whatever that may be. Let us know. Give us a call, 859-252-6225. Or just hit us up on our website, trinsoft.com, and we'll be happy to get in touch with you, talk about how we can help you with your Power BI needs. With that, we say thank you. As we know, several of you have, committed up to, 3 sessions viewing this today. So, or over the last couple sessions. So definitely appreciate everyone who has joined us during this time. We look forward to hearing from you, what you guys thought about this kind of mini series and how we can help you and the team moving forward. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the Q&A. We'll keep it up for another minute or two. Otherwise, we will end and look forward to reconnecting with each of you at a later date. Thank you all.